if your staff is not good enough to be able to do things on their own, then they're not good enough to be your staff.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life.
And Jordan. I think we got to work on our timing with that.
I think that I make it awkward on purpose.
Okay, well,
Does it work?
It works.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Great.
Yeah.
So, welcome to this special episode. Well, actually, this is part of several episodes that we're filming at Pancho's Mexican Restaurant out here in San Antonio, Florida. It's great Mexican food. And so if you are in the area of San Antonio, Florida, I definitely recommend checking it out. There's an address in the description. So they're kind of old school. I don't think they have a website. I couldn't find one when I looked.
Well, it is the only Mexican restaurant in town.
Yeah, they don't need to advertise. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of need for digital marketing at this point.
Right. And there's always a line here. We were lucky to get a table.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what we've done, since this is the first one, I'll explain it, is that we have questions that came in our Like an Entrepreneur Facebook group. And I just opened it up for whatever kind of entrepreneurial stuff, questions you had. And now we're going to answer them. And we're just going to use like first name, last initial, whatnot. The group is private. There is a link in the description. You can apply to join. Not everybody can be there, but actually, I think we allow most everybody in. But if you're a dork, you go back out.
Yeah, and I think you said it best. You said we're so no drama about it that we don't even say anything. We just kick idiots.
Yeah, we don't like advertise. Oh my God, I kicked somebody because they were whatever. Yeah. So. Okay, so our first question comes in from Mitch S. And he says, I'd be interested in hearing you talk about managing a customer support team, which I have done. How do you keep your staff motivated? Quality of responses high and response times low. And as a business owner, how do you ensure you're working on advancing the business, creative work, rather than responding to emails, support requests, reactive work? You mean fighting fires instead of building things?
Yeah, and I want to go down on record saying just this, and you won't say it, so I'm going to say it for you.
The salsa's really good?
The salsa is awesome at this place, and the chips are fresh.
Go ahead.
I couldn't think of a better person to answer this question and talk to you about this subject than Marcus. I have never gotten to the level that Marcus has in business, where he started to pull himself away from operational stuff and actually started looking at key indicators to make sure that everything's working okay and just trusting the good people that he has working under him. Mm-hmm. So if there was, I got to tell you, people who have not actually done this, I don't have any time for it. I don't have any time to listen to them, and I can't offer any special perspective on this, but I know you can.
Right.
And I'm all ears to hear what you have to say about this, because he's got like 3 questions in that one question, right?
Yeah.
Very, very good questions. So, and by the way, I want to add to it, right? I think most business owners think of all of their employees as vendors, and they don't really treat them like they forgot what it was like to be an employee.
So the first thing, and what Jordan is saying here, the very first thing, more paper towels. All right. So
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well, we're ready to order whenever.
Up to you. You guys ready?
Yeah.
So that-
you guys just got to hold on here for just a second. We got really important business to do.
That's right.
Exactly. When it involves food.
Yes.
All right. Who wants to start?
Mean verde, 2. No beans, double the rice, and a side of sour cream.
Okay.
We are going to do taco surprise.
Taco surprise.
Yes, I know it's not on the menu, but chef's choice of tacos.
Okay.
And I want 3 of them. I don't know how many you want.
I'll take 3, but I need to have hard shell corn, if that's okay.
They're only soft tacos because they don't fit on the hard shell. But we can always do corn.
Like corn soft tacos, you mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to do that?
Yep,
Okay.
that's fine.
Do you want to do, how many tacos do you want to do?
That'd be
3?
great.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
And-
different.
I'll
And if
do-
they were
All
different than
different.
his, that would be
All
awesome.
Yeah.
So, like,
Are there
6
6 different
different
taco
tacos.
types?
Is anybody opposed to spicy?
No.
No? Pretty much open to anything?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can do
Yeah,
that.
so you can surprise us.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take
And then beans and rice.
beans and rice are both? All right.
I'll have rice and beans.
Rice and beans as well?
Oh, wait. I want that instead.
Yeah, okay. Do you want a refill or do you want to get a beer or anything?
No, I think I'll just drink caffeine instead.
Okay. So, anyway, like I mentioned, we're filming at Panchos Restaurant here in San Antonio, Florida. And so they're just taking an order. Now, I come here a lot. And my wife and I, and we really like
The kids love it too.
Yeah, the kids like it too. So, okay, so now you mentioned something about what was it you called the customer, the staff?
Normally, I noticed that employers, a lot of times, especially small business owners, forget that their employees are not just vendors, and that you don't just, like with a vendor relationship, you throw money at them, they give you a goods or service, and you're done.
Right.
And I see a lot of business owners treating their employees like vendors.
So, okay, so to that point, your staff must be, I only hire people who are good at customer service, even if their job has nothing to do with customer service. And that is because they, at one point or another, will interact with customers, and if they're all pissy and everything, it is not a good customer experience at all. So, it's my job as the owner of the business or as co-owner or whatever to be the customer service for my staff. And so it's my job to take care of them so that they can do a good job of taking care of everybody else.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here with you, not having gone through this myself. That sounds to me like, and I know you don't mean this, but it sounds to me like I'm going to go and play nursemaid to all of my employees.
No, it's not that at all. If your staff is not good enough to be able to do things on their own, then they're not good enough to be your staff.
Oh, okay, good.
So, there are people who are good at what they do. And this is why I always hire customer service people. There might be somebody who's really good at processing orders and packing boxes and all of that stuff. But if they have no people skills, then they don't belong at one of my companies. If I'm hiring out for something like, say, a vendor or whatnot, I don't care whether they have people skills. I just care whether or not they do what I am paying them to do. And it's pretty cut and dry. And if they don't, I just move on to somebody else at the next time.
So would you say, by definition, that you hire slowly and fire quickly?
I never fire quickly enough.
Quickly enough?
Yes. It's always after things have gone too far. And it's hindsight's 20/20 because it just always is. You're like, oh yeah, I should have known that. Or I recognize that now. But a lot of that comes with experience.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
But okay, so in managing the team, it can be too when you get really big. So you only manage as many as 7 people. Do not manage more than 7 people.
That's good advice.
And because once you go beyond 7, you go beyond your abilities to effectively manage. And this is why there's a big corporate structure, CEO, and then there's the different C-class, and then there's directors and vice presidents and all of that stuff. It's in a chain. You should never have more than 7 people under you, unless it's there are some situations where down at the bottom where someone may have a lot more under them, but they're just making sure they're doing their job. They're not actually taking care of them in a different kind of way. So
speaking of, and I have 2 requests, right? Or I have a question and a request. I'd like you to read the question again, but only after my next question.
all
right? Because it's been a while since we've read the question, right? Okay. So, from a money management standpoint, what I'd like to know is, let's say, for instance, that you're cash flow positive, you're doing well, you're bringing on some lower level employees to handle the nuts and bolts of things that you don't want to handle. At what point in time, how do you manage your cash flow and how do you manage your savings when you want to bring on an upper level manager, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say that you want to bring on a COO, right? Chief Operating Officer, right? Do you have, if he's going to be paid a certain salary, and it doesn't matter what his salary is for the sake of this argument, if you're going to pay him, a lot of money or a little money, are you going to have a year's worth of his salary in the bank account first?
No.
Are you going to have a month's worth?
Well, there's got to be a budget for it.
Okay. So.
But cash is liquid.
Okay. So how do you hire that upper level manager to take over some of those things, knowing and having confidence that you have enough money to pay him if things go sour in the next couple of weeks or whatever, you hit a rough patch?
Okay, nobody's going to like this answer. If things go sour, people get laid off. You hold on, you budget well so that you don't make those mistakes, but if you make those kind of mistakes, the company has to come first. Because if the company doesn't survive, nobody has a job.
Good answer.
And so that's just a harsh reality, and the difference between. So when I hire people and when I have to let them go, I am still friends with them in real life, none the same. I mean, there's no change in that. There is people who have never owned a business before and never had been put in that situation. Definitely in their mind, there is a big change. They're pissed off at you and everything. And typically when I've hired friends in the past and then something, and then we've had, to part ways for whatever reason, it's always taken some time to heal that relationship. So that's
Gotcha.
why you don't hire friends, and that's why you don't hook up in the workplace. Yeah.
Good advice.
So,
okay, so please do us a favor and read the question again, because I thought it was a very good question. I don't want to forget it.
So he's interested in talking about managing a customer support team. How do you keep your staff motivated? Okay, so staff motivated, quality of response is high, response times low, and as a business owner, how do I ensure you're working on advancing the business, creative work, rather than responding to emails and support requests, reactive work? So so keeping staff motivated, I mean, that is your job, and that flows downhill. And there's many different ways of doing that, but if they have a good work environment, there's probably none of my former staff here that's watching the show right now, but if any of you are, you could feel free to tell in the live show what your thoughts are on working for me. And what most will say is that it was one of the best jobs I ever had. And that's because we did not screw with anybody that was not screwing us back. So as long as you did your job, we left you alone. But once you weren't doing your job, then it was different. Then the screws get to you, and there's a bit of pressure applied.
So did you have an accountability system? Did you look at anything in particular to judge whether or not somebody needed a corrective action, or did you set up a commission plan for people who are in customer service? How do you get that high level of response?
You don't have to pay high to get good customer service.
Okay.
So you need to have happy people at their job who love doing customer service. Your people who are the forward-most facing with your customers are people who were born to serve others. So there's no doubt about that. And I can give you a good example. I had in my limousine services, the hogs have arrived. In my limousine services, I had several chauffeurs, but then we hired this guy who was right when we hired him, he had just left from his previous job, and was he was named runner-up chauffeur of the year in the United States. And so,
Wow.
he was a very high-end chauffeur, and we paid him very well as well. So I don't know how he ended up with us, but he did. And
So what I'm getting from you, aside from the side conversation over there,
Right.
is that you hire smart, and these issues become less of issues.
yes. So if somebody loves doing customer service, you don't have to motivate them. And so what I was going to say here is that this guy that we hired, that was named, the runner-up chauffeur of the year for the United States, the year prior to when we hired him, he loved to serve. And so every action that he took, everything that he did, he had in his head thinking about that this is what I want to do. This is that what makes him happy was providing service and doing it well. And he did amazing things that you never thought of. He would do things like, clean the glasses in the car while a customer was inside, and they come back out and it's a whole rack of clean glasses again. And they're like, well, we used a couple of them, but they were done, and
Sure.
and so they're all clean.
So to them, as far as they were concerned, it was magic.
Right.
So they just like making other people happy.
Yes. So and get satisfaction of them not noticing and stuff like that. So anyway, that's one good example of it. And then the response is high. The quality of response is high. It's because they love their job, so they take extra time. The only time we would ask people to take less time is when we were in a crunch, and we called that ripcord. And basically, what that meant was we had so many orders coming in and so many customer calls or whatnot that you just had to cut down on the time that you spent with each one of them. But when it was, when you were have the time, then no problem. So spend as much time as you want, And so if you always exceed customers' expectations, they come back a lot more. In response times low, yeah. So if you notice at our company, if you've bought any game codes from us, our average is well below 20 minutes. We have a few hours in the middle of the night in a global period of when it's quiet, that there's no customer service on staff. Most systems are automated, but if a customer service person is needed, then they have to wait during that period. But otherwise, it's a few minutes. So,
Good stuff.
yeah. Let's see here. And how do you ensure on working on advancing the creative work rather than responding to emails? So if your customer service staff is good, you don't have to worry about it. So they are taking care of things. You should always spot check though. Don't ever think that you can walk away and just let them take care of everything. And staff hates it. So they hate it when you look over their shoulder and say, okay, show me, I used to do this to people, show me the last 3 replies that you replied to customers. And I'd make them bring them up, their emails or whatever. And then I would critique them if I needed to. Sometimes I'd be like, wow, I didn't even think of that, great, And if a customer service person is not performing, or actually any person in your company is not performing, do their work for them and watch what happens.
Really?
Absolutely.
Right in front of them.
Maybe. So, and it's called working from above, and you do that, and they will strive to not have that happen again. So you'd be like, well, you were behind by whatever. I took care of most of them for you, so you should be caught up now. And you just leave it like that. And they're highly motivated to not get behind again. They do not want that kind of attention, even though you didn't do it in a non-positive way.
Sure.
So
one could say that is a very subtle way of saying you are replaceable.
Staff should never feel 100% comfortable. If they are, they get lazy. When they get lazy, they get fired. But by then it's too late. 95% comfort at the max. Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah. So
advice.
everyone is replaceable. Even the top end guys. Even the CEO is replaceable. You may think that could never happen. It happened to me. But that wasn't because I was doing a bad job. That was a little divorce involved. So, okay. So, yeah. And always, you should take time every week to touch every department. You should process a couple of orders, you should pack a couple of orders, you should take a couple of calls, all of that, because if you don't, you're not in touch anymore, and that's going to cause you a lot of problems.
So kind of the non-undercover boss.
Right. It's like, I'm not undercover, but I'm doing your... do you mind if I take a couple calls while you go on break? I'm going to just take calls.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
So thank you very much for that question there, Mitch. And in the link, there's a link in the description for the Like an Entrepreneur group. And you can
Yeah, somebody
join
was
us there.
asking where that was.
It may not be in the live show portion.
Oh, okay.
I may have forgotten it.
Fair enough.
So, okay. So, and join the Like an Entrepreneur group if you have questions that you'd like answers to like this, because I am looking for more questions to answer. So I hope to see you there.